Oh boy, we got a ton of feedback after our segment on DMV hacks last week. We used a lot of your feedback to get the real story from DMV officials. Things like the best time to log on for new appointments, how to get a spot in the walk-in line, and why the system really just seems so overwhelmed right now. You can find all of that on the WRAL YouTube page right now. But we couldn't get to everything during that, so I wanted to take a little bit of time to get to a few more of your questions. And let's start with one of the biggest hurdles for women trying to update a real ID, because you need a few extra documents than with the traditional driver's license. Ginger asked, does everyone who got married and changed their name have to have their marriage license? The answer is yes, you do. And that could be even harder for people who said, I do, more than once.
If you have a name change, we need documentation showing the name change, which would be a marriage license or a divorce decree. If you're someone who is married and divorced multiple times, we need to be able to trace that name change each time, from what it is on your birth certificate to what you're saying your name is now. We need to be able to trace it the whole way through.
Oh boy, as if divorce wasn't hard enough. Now here's a perspective that I actually heard a lot in the inbox. Walter said, I don't want to come across as rude or judgmental by any means, but come on. The headline should be, all you lazy slackers who didn't do what you have been told for multiple years again and again are now going to have to deal with the consequences of your own decisions. Okay, first of all, that headline's way too long. Second of all, not everyone at the DMV needs a real ID. Hundreds of people are moving to the state every single day, and they need to go in person. Then you have thousands of teenagers getting permits and licenses every year, and people need to get renewals. And remember, you can only renew online every other time. So if you renewed online last time, that means you have to go back in person and get a new picture this time, like Tracy, who said, what about people who didn't procrastinate and their real ID expires on their birthday, like me on June 10th? It would not let me renew online.
So you can only renew online every other time. And so that person must have renewed online 8 years ago when they had the renewal.
But wait a minute. Did you listen closely to Tracy's email? Real ID has only been offered in North Carolina since 2017, 8 years ago, and Tracy has one, which means that she actually had to go in person and get a new picture then. So shouldn't she be able to renew online this time around? Unfortunately, no.
Currently, the way the law is written is that when you come in to get a Real ID, even though you're having a new picture taken, it doesn't reset your renewal clock. That stays the same.
Does that make sense? I mean, think about it. That means if you renewed your license online back in 2017, then you decided to get a real ID any time between then and now, even 6 months ago, it didn't reset your next renewal or reset your option to renew online, meaning, Walter, even people who weren't lazy slackers still have to find an appointment or wait in line. Ben asked, did HB 821 driver's license extension bill make it into law? We talked about this last week. He's talking about House Bill 821, the driver's license expiration moratorium. This would add 2 years to your expiration date, which could help lighten up some of the renewal requests. State lawmakers actually talked about this today in a House committee, and they pointed out a few issues with it. One is a proposed study that's attached to this bill to figure out if there are some issues with the DMV that can be solved, meaning if lawmakers don't really want to do a study, that could sink the entire bill. Second, the moratorium would only be honored in North Carolina. So that means if you get pulled over in another state, you're going to be getting hit with an expired license charge there. You all might also run into some problems at airports or getting a rental car or doing anything outside of North Carolina that requires a valid license. This was the last stop in that committee. Now the bill is headed to the House floor. We'll see what happens. Fixing the DMV, though, is going to take really all three groups to get involved. You got number one, the lawmakers, and as we can see, they're doing their thing. Number two is the DMV. They're working on 10-hour days right now, and they're going to start offering Saturday hours on May 31st. And number three is you. 15% of people clogging up appointments and waiting in line for things, they're waiting for things that they can actually do online, or they're showing up for no reason at all.
We have a surprising number of people showing up at the office that already have it. When they get to the counter, they're like, I want a real ID. And they're like, you already have it. They're like, what? They're like, yeah. They pull out their license and the star's in the upper right-hand corner.
So make sure that you got one of these before you go in and try and get it, right? This is what the ID looks like. You got that little star up in the top right corner. If you got it, you are good for now. So while you're at it, you should probably double check your expiration date too, as we were talking about before. Let me know if you have any questions, any more about this. I know that, man, there are a million questions out there. I'll keep you updated on some of the changes that are in the works that may help. Please send me an email, dan@WRAL.com. Tell me what is on your mind, and we will go in depth.